So we've hit on 8 out of our last 9 Nerfies here on the channel with our MLB Best Bets, and yesterday our Nerfy did get canceled due to the air quality up in Cleveland, Ohio. So today we're going to do something different. We're going to have 2 Nerfy bets today, but we're still going to have our normal other 4 best bets. So for the first time, we're doing 6 best bets on the channel. I'll explain why entirely though in a minute. Folks, before we get into our best bets for today, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for some more daily MLB Best Bets here on the channel. According to YouTube's analytics, over 56% of you guys are not subscribed to the channel, so make sure to do so if you have not yet. We are 500 subscribers away from 30,000, so let's make that happen as soon as possible here. Yesterday wasn't our finest day. Again, Nerfy gets canceled. Mariners lay an egg at home against the Giants. Yankees choke. Oh, my Aaron Boone leaves Cole out there. But how about those Nationals? I just got back from Sacramento. It is very late when I'm recording this video. What a win. 23-4 for the Nats? Hey. Okay, today we're getting back on the heater. We were very hot going into the All-Star break. Let's get back on that track today. Okay, also on the channel, Greedo plays MMA, UFC OKC predictions. That's tonight. PFL Austin predictions. Okay, let's go. First of 5 best bets. We're going to kick things off with both of our Nerfies. Why am I doing 2 Nerfies? I think they're playing today in Ohio. Of course, yesterday gets canceled because of the air quality. Of course, I mean, if you look at Detroit, or not Detroit, but just Michigan in general right now, it is awful up there. Obviously, the Tigers currently are on the road in Anaheim, so that's not an issue. You saw that Phillies and Mets game just the other day. They did play it, but, you know, you saw Bryce Harper after the game say that game probably shouldn't have been played, but the MLB went through with it. Yesterday, they do cancel Cleveland versus Pittsburgh, so there's a double header today. And, of course, yesterday, our Nerfy was between these 2 teams. So the reason I am doing 2 Nerfies is because, well, we kind of already gave this one out yesterday, and we're still going to play it. We're still going to talk about it, a little bit right now, but I'm going to do 2 Nerfies just in case, for some reason, again, this one gets postponed yet again due to the air quality. Again, everything I'm seeing is that they should be on track to play today, but if there were to be a game canceled tomorrow, there's a chance it would be the 1 o'clock start time in Cleveland rather than the 7 o'clock local start time tomorrow in Ohio. So we will stick with the Nerfy today with the Guardians and the Pirates. Very briefly, we'll go over this and we'll get to our second Nerfy in a minute. Again, for our total 6 best bets today. I do expect the Nerfy to still cash. Odds have come down a little bit on it from minus 135 to minus 130. The only thing I can think of is that it's a day game now. Obviously, ball just flies a lot easier or flies a lot further in the daytime normally than it does at night. So I have to, because sun's out and whatnot, it's obviously much hotter during the day in general rather than at night. So that's why I assume the price has come down a little bit on this Nerfy. I'm still willing to play it. Jared Jones pitching for the Pirates, Gavin Williams going for the Guardians. Gavin Williams has had his rough stretches at times, but he's still been a really good pitcher this year for the Guardians with a 3.81 ERA, of course, coming off that 11 strikeout game against a really good lineup that we talked about yesterday in the Minnesota Twins. For Jared Jones, 4.37 ERA, but how about those 6 shutout innings in his last outing against the Atlanta Braves with 8 Ks as well. So again, I do not want to spend much time on this one. Very briefly, I'll go over lineups and then we'll get to that next Nerfy. I think Jared Jones is able to get through a Guardians lineup, of course, that I'm really only concerned about both Travis Bazzana and Chase DeLauder. With all due respect to the rest of this lineup, no one really concerns me. I think Cleveland has a really good chance to win the game in full because, of course, bullpens are going to come into play eventually because, Pittsburgh's bullpen eventually, or ultimately, when they have to play 2 games in one day, I don't know how it's going to hold up. But we don't care who wins this game. I just need zero runs in the first inning. I'm not really concerned about Cleveland scoring, and we get the better pitcher out of the 2, Gavin Williams and Jared Jones, going against the better lineup, and that's the Pittsburgh Pirates. Of course, the Pirates came into the second half tied for the most runs in Major League Baseball. Now they do trail the Washington Nationals 23 runs because the Nats, of course, put up 23 yesterday in their first ever game in Sacramento, California. We'll have more on that later. Oh my goodness, that was so... I have not had a better experience at a baseball game ever. All right, I went to Shohei Ohtani's first ever playoff game, saw him hit a home run in his first ever playoff game. Obviously, it was cool, but I wasn't that excited for it. I don't think I've been to a better baseball game than Nationals versus A's last night. I mean, my team won a game by 19 runs. I mean, it doesn't get better than that. Anyways, in a minor league ballpark, oh my goodness, Andres Chaparro, 8 RBI. But anyways, right, Pirates were tied with the Nationals for most runs in baseball going into yesterday. Now they trail by 23. That's still a really good lineup, but I think Gavin Williams is able to get the outs, and that's what's going to be our first Nerfy of the day. So we're going to start the day with the Nerfy with the first game of the day, and I'll just go through it right now. I know we're out of order, and we usually do not do this, but the first game of the day is going to be a Nerfy for us today. And the last game of the day is going to be a Nerfy for us. So early morning, it's 1 p.m. on the East Coast, but for me, 10 a.m., it's a little bit early, especially on a weekend. 10 a.m. Nerfy to start the day with the Pirates and the Guardians, and a 7:10 local time Nerfy, at least on the East Coast. That's 10:10 out there between the Tigers and the Angels for our second Nerfy. Obviously, the concern is with Grayson Rodriguez, okay? Tarek Skubal pitching for the Tigers, Grayson Rodriguez going for the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. This is the new Nerfy for today, and there's been a report going around, I don't know if this is 100% true or not, that the Detroit Tigers are leaning on keeping Tarek Skubal now at the trade deadline. I think that's a bad move. I understand the Tigers are definitely in play to be a wild card this year, but man, you look how hot the Red Sox are. The Twins have won a couple games in a row. Baltimore is now won 5 in a row, and of course, the most impressive thing is Boston winning 11 straight. I mean, my goodness, the Rays yesterday didn't stand a chance. How about Jake Bennett? Just how good is that guy for Boston? Red Sox have won 11 in a row. They sweep the doubleheader yesterday. They are currently in a playoff spot. Twins tied with them. And if you're the Tigers, you're 3.5 games out. Of course, you're not out of it because everyone's still really in play in the American League, but I still think they should sell. Even if you do have a chance to make the postseason, I do think you get rid of Skubal, unless you know for a fact. And if they do know he's going to resign, obviously keep him. But I think there's a very good chance this is, 2022 Shohei Ohtani all over again. 2023 Shohei Ohtani all over again in Anaheim, where the Angels thought they were going to be able to keep him in the offseason, and all of a sudden, they did not think, they definitely did not think they were going to keep him in the offseason. They thought they were going to be able to make a push to make the playoffs in 23 when they were 6 games back at the deadline. They buy on Lucas Giolito, and the Angels missed out on, I think, about 8 games out of the postseason, and of course, Ohtani definitely, expectedly walks from Anaheim and goes to the Dodgers. When we all thought he was going to go to the Blue Jays, and maybe he could have saved baseball a little bit, but it's fine. It's fine. Anyways, of course, the Dodgers do it to us again yesterday, right? I knew it was happening. I don't want to sound like LeBron James right now. I knew Kobe was going to score 80 points. When Aaron Boone left Garrett Cole out there for Max Muncy, I felt it, man. I knew it was happening. I'm watching the game on my drive to Sacramento, and I was like, Muncy's about to go yard, and he does. Anyways, and the Yankees had chances in the 8th inning. They just couldn't capitalize. Regardless, second Nerfy is going to be Tigers and Angels. Again, Tigers looking like maybe they don't trade Skubal. I think if they are offered Jose DePaula, you absolutely take it. Now, again, to save the sport, maybe, I would be perfectly fine with the Tigers not accepting that, but I do think DePaula is going to be a really good player. Okay, in terms of the Nerfy today, though, Skubal should get 3 outs early in this game against Anaheim. The concern, obviously, is with Grayson Rodriguez. I will tell you, though, Grayson Rodriguez's last start against the Minnesota Twins was not bad, and like I mentioned earlier yesterday and a little bit briefly a couple minutes ago about Gavin Williams, the Twins have a good lineup, and I was really impressed with Gavin Williams going 7 innings, only allowing 2 runs and striking out double-digit batters. And you look at Rodriguez's last start, although he doesn't strike out a single Twins batter last Friday, okay, 5 1/3, 6 hits, 3 runs against that lineup, a Twins lineup that is at 500. Everyone right now is hitting for that team. You know what? You'll take it. That was on Brawl in the Ballpark Day over in Minnesota as they held an all-elite wrestling event after the show in Minneapolis last Friday. Regardless, Angels win that game, and Grayson Rodriguez pitches all right. Now, again, is he striking anybody out? No, but completely pitched to contact. He's finding ways to get outs. He gets the victory in that game. Minnesota does score in the first inning. I will say they put runners on, and it was a Clemens sacrifice fly to score Trevor Larnach. But I think Rodriguez should be able to get outs here. At least I hope he's able to. Detroit, they have picked it up hitting-wise. Of course, the Tigers are kind of making their push right now. They've been playing better baseball overall since Skubal has returned, but the Tigers are significantly better in Detroit, Michigan, rather than on the road, of course. Tigers way below 500 team on the road, 11 under on the road this season, and they are over 500, of course, at Comerica Park this season. You're likely going to see McGonigal. Well, you're definitely going to see McGonigal at the top line. At the top lineup, you're going to see McGonigal, Kerry Carpenter, Dingler, Torkelson. Okay, maybe not in that order, but probably. Just unfortunately, no Matt Vierling for us today. I think we'll be fine. I think that Grayson Rodriguez can get those outs. The guy that really concerns me, of course, was the all-star this season for the Detroit Tigers and Dylan Dingler. He should have been the all-star game starter, one of the all-stars, for the Tigers, but I thought Dylan Dingler should have been the all-star game starter at catcher, with all due respect to Shea Langeliers, who homered off of Jorbit Vivas yesterday. Great. In the 9th inning to cut the lead to 20. I kind of thought Dylan Dingler deserved the starting catching role more, but I think Rodriguez is able to get those outs, and I think Skubal should be fine. hope Screwball's fine, right? I mean, Zach Neto, Mike Trout, Nolan Shawnuel are probably Soler. Come on, Screwball should be able to get those outs as long as he's able to keep both Neto and Trout in the park, and even Soler too, right? I mean, that's the concern with the Angels. They do have guys who can put the ball out, right? Zach Neto has hit a lot of home runs this season. He bats .237. Trout bats .237, but both those guys hit a lot of homers. Same with Jorge Soler. I mean, his OPS is probably, off the top of my head, 600, 680, okay? Better than I thought. But Soler can, he connects, he hits the ball very hard. That's kind of what the Angels do. And I think as long as Screwball's able to keep those guys in the park, we should be fine. Angels did score in the first inning yesterday off of Troy Melton. And the Tigers took the lead in the top of the ninth inning when Kirby Yates came in, who has been so consistently bad this season for the Los Angeles Angels. Even though his ERA is sub-4, which kind of is surprising. But the Tigers win the game after trailing throughout. They do take the lead in the top of the ninth yesterday and win the game in Anaheim. I just need no runs in the first inning, and I think we're going to be fine. Again, we've been successful in 8 out of our last 9 Nerfies. We're looking to make it 10 out of our last 11 today if we're able to cash on both these. First game of the day in Cleveland. Final game of the night in Anaheim. Let's try to cash 2 Nerfies for the first time here with our MLB Best Bets in 2026. First time we've attempted it. Let's cash it this time, or on the first time. Okay, on to our third best bet of the video. Again, special 6 best bets today. Again, still not 100% sure if that Cleveland game's actually going to get played or not. Let's move on to our first money line pick of the day. Let's go to Toronto, Ontario, Canada, as the Toronto Blue Jays are taking on the Chicago White Sox. Yesterday, a rout in favor of the Chicago White Sox. 12-4, the final score, for Chicago, who are 6 games over 500. If you watched our midseason predictions, I did, and that's still on the channel, by the way, if you want to see those in full, talked about all 30 teams. I predicted the Chicago White Sox to still make the playoffs. I do expect eventually Cleveland to surpass them for the American League Central. I just think Cleveland has a slightly better team, but I do expect the White Sox to get into the dance this year, and well-deserved. The Sox are 6 games over 500. They've been a very great home team this year on the road. I will say they've been a lot more shaky, not like the Jays have been an exceptionally great home team on the flip side, though. Yesterday, a 12-4 victory, though, for the White Sox. Complete domination, right? Complete domination over the Jays. Spencer Miles is the starting pitcher for Toronto on that one, and 5 runs are scored for the White Sox in the top of the second inning, and they just keep on piling it on from there. The Jays do get 2 back to make it a 5-2 game, but then a bases-clearing double out of Colson Montgomery in the top of the 5th sends the score from 5-2 to 8-2, and now the Blue Jays have lost 3 consecutive games, dating back, obviously, prior to the All-Star break. So, huge result for the Chicago White Sox, winning 12-4. They tack on more runs late in the contest again to get those 12 runs. I think they're going to beat Toronto again today. I mean, pitching matchups are huge, obviously, and Shane Bieber starting tonight for the Toronto Blue Jays, while Davis Martin is going for the Chicago White Sox. Now, Davis Martin has had better nights, do not get me wrong, right? Davis Martin started at the beginning of the year very hot, and he was, looking to be on an all-star trajectory. He has cooled down a little bit recently, but still, Davis Martin on the season is posting a 3.41 ERA. WHIP is 1.29, but compared to what Shane Bieber's done so far this season, Davis Martin has been the better guy this year. Shane Bieber, it's only been 4 starts, but in 18 innings, Shane Bieber has posted a 7.64 ERA. So again, in 18 innings, he's given up 15 runs. It's obviously not very good. The Jays won 1 game with Bieber on the mound. That was their last game with Bieber in San Diego against the Padres, as Bieber was able to go 4 2/3, only allowing 2 runs in the process. I think the Sox are going to jump on him here. Again, this is a Sox team that everyone hits, man. Again, is this long-term sustainable? Is their bullpen the best? Not entirely, but they find ways. First-time All-Star Munetaka Murakami. First-time All-Star Miguel Vargas. First-time All-Star Tristan Peters. I mean, this is a White Sox team that had 3 first-time All-Stars this year, and Shane Bieber has just been atrocious. It's a limited sample size, but you guys know how much I love the Baseball Savant pages, especially for pitchers, because they really matter. And boy, oh boy, look at this. This is atrocious. Baseball Savant page for Shane Bieber is one of the worst you're going to see. Again, yes, is it a limited sample size? 100%. It's only 18 innings. But guys, he's got an actual ERA of 7.64. His expected ERA is 11.53. It doesn't get much worse than that. And of course, the more red you see on a Savant page, the better. There's no red. And we are going to look at a Savant page later that isn't very good either. And his, the player's first name starts with a Z and his last name starts with an L, and he pitches for a team that has the initials of WN. We're going to talk about that later. But Shane Bieber's not good. Unks lost his fastball at 31, both literally and figuratively. He has not been good in 2026. Yes, again, it's only 18 innings, but when you're giving up almost as many runs as innings pitched so far, I can't treat you that seriously. So this is, again, a White Sox team that is very aggressive at the plate. They swing at good pitches, and I do think they're going to dominate the matchup. Has Davis Martin struggled a little bit recently? Yes. Okay, had a start in his last one against Boston in Chicago, a rare White Sox home loss and home series loss, but again, that's just how hot the Red Sox currently are. Davis Martin in that start on Wednesday goes 4 innings, 6 hits, and 5 runs. It's not good. Start prior in Cleveland against the Guards. There's guard ball, 3 1/3, 6 hits, 2 runs. Last really good outing for Martin was at home on the 27th of June against the Royals, where he went 5 1/3 shutout innings. Again, we're going to need a performance like that out of Martin today, but I expect a lot of runs on both sides, right? Again, I'm hoping Davis Martin's a lot better today, but at the same time, if he is giving up runs, I do think the White Sox are going to be able to respond. I do think the White Sox are going to be able to pile it on against Shane Bieber in this one, who again has struggled to put up a good start all year long. I mean, when you are giving up 7 runs to the Seattle Mariners, I don't know what to tell you. We may be talking about the Mariners in a little bit here because, of course, there is something called the Brian Wu equation. But, I mean, man, Shane Bieber, 7 runs against Seattle on the 4th of July. I mean, hey, that's a American ass whooping right there. We're telling Canada, right? It's a 51st state. Anybody? No? Okay. I'm joking. Am I? I'm joking. Maybe. It's a joke. Anyways, Shane Bieber gets mauled on the 4th of July in Seattle. Again, 4 innings, 6 hits, 7 runs. Start after against the Padres is better. It's the only win that the Jays have gotten with Bieber on the mound so far this year, but he has not been good, and I do think the Sox are going to jump all over him here in this game. I don't think that highly of Spencer Miles either, but I mean, who's better, Spencer Miles or Shane Bieber in 2026? It's probably still Bieber, but I wouldn't, be all that confident in saying that. Again, these are the 2 worst guys in this Blue Jays rotation. They're 2 best guys. Well, I don't even know if they have 2 best guys. Dylan Cease, is one of the best pitchers in baseball. You could argue, again, I think, and if you watched our midseason predictions, and if you haven't, I highly recommend you go check it out. I predicted Dylan Cease to win the American League Cy Young. I have a really close race. I think it's going to be a really close race with Dylan Cease and Cam Schultler, but I very slightly gave it to Dylan Cease. And I think you can see the number 2 pitcher for the Blue Jays is Kevin Gausman. I understand the Jays haven't won a game with Gausman in like a month and a half, but he has been pitching better than the other 3 guys in the rotation, with Miles, who is not very good. I understand they moved Patrick Corbin back to the bullpen. Max Scherzer is still injured. We'll see if they buy at the deadline. Guys, Savage has not been good recently. I watched a game again. We had the Jays in this one where Savage walked 7 guys and only got 5 outs. He gave up 1 hit and gave up 4 runs. He has not been good. He walks just too many batters. So you get, again, Savage, who's been bad. Miles is not good. And Shane Bieber's awful. I think the White Sox are scoring runs today. And it's always a problem with the Blue Jays, too. Can the lineup get going? I don't know, right? I mean, you've got, leading vote getter in the American League, Ernie Clement, who's a 300 hitter. That's great. Ernie Clement, OPS of 750. Awesome. Vlad Guerrero in the 2 spot, great, whopping OPS of 700. Again, it does feel like a matter of time before the Jays completely come back. I don't know. I mean, you get performances like last night, and you're just thinking, okay, like, is this team ever going to respond? Yes, their bullpen's really great, right? They have it lined up perfectly 7, 8, 9, right? Jeff Hoffman / Rogers 7, 8, just depending on, handedness of batters, great. Louis Varland hasn't blown a save all year long as their closer. Awesome. You need to have a lead, obviously, to get a save and really utilize your bullpen. It's the San Diego Padres problem every single day. Their bullpen's great. Mason Miller is the best closer in baseball. He got out of a bases loaded, no outs jam yesterday, but what happens? His team still fails him because they aren't able to score, right? And obviously, the Royals got really lucky yesterday, but we'll talk about that in a second. Jays can't utilize their bullpen if they're not winning. And I think, again, it's obviously key for the White Sox to go out and score early on Shane Bieber, and I believe they're going to do absolutely that. So I'm going to go with the Toronto Blue Jays to lose here at home. I'm going with the White Sox to already secure a series victory in Toronto, Ontario, Canada with a victory today against the Jays. They are slight favorites at -115. I believe they bomb on Shane Bieber. Give me Sox money line on the road in Toronto against Bieber and the Jays. On now to our 3rd best bet of the video, and 4th, because again, extra best bet today. Let's go to our best player prop today. I didn't think there was going to come a time, and if you told me this, I don't know, 2 years ago when Ty France was one of the worst hitters on the planet for the Seattle Mariners, and he got DFA'd and got sent to the Reds. If you had told me back in 2024 that we would be betting on Ty France overs, I would have laughed in your face, but here we are. Because Ty France arguably is the best hitter on the San Diego Padres. Fernando Tatis is good. He hits the ball hard, but usually right into the ground. He can't elevate a baseball. So he's hitting for a high average. OPS isn't that high. Machado hits the ball. When Machado hits the ball, it goes over the fence, but that's the big if for him. Bogart sucks. Jackson Merrill's very off and on. The best hitter on the San Diego Padres, and Gavin Sheets has been disappointing this year. Ryan O'Hearn's better. Best hitter on this team is, I think, significantly Ty France, which is unbelievable. But he is the best hitter on this team. And now he's hitting against both left-handed and right-handed pitchers. You see yesterday, Padres don't get into that spot where Mason Miller has to pull off his heroics and, the walk-off victory for the Royals. None of that happens yesterday if Ty France doesn't homer in the top of the ninth inning. Now, is the Royals pen atrocious? Oh, absolutely, right? It's Alex Lange trying to get the save yesterday for the Royals with his 6 ERA, and Ty France bombs him into deep left field. Awesome, right? And I can't really pin yesterday on the Padres lineup, to be honest with you. I mean, they scored 3 runs in the top of the 10th inning, and their team still lost because their bullpen kind of imploded yesterday, right? Mason Miller, again, bases loaded, jam, no outs in the bottom of the ninth inning. He goes out there and strikes out 3 batters in a row. And yes, Miller was the one who loaded them up, but he found a way out of it. Bottom of the 10th, you're up 3 runs. You think you got enough, run protection. Kyle Hart comes in there and says, I don't know about that. Kyle Hart gets 1 out, and the Royals again, was it entirely Hart's fault? I don't know, because the Royals, it was 55 mile an hour off the bat, 60 miles an hour off the bat, 70 miles an hour off the bat. There was some serious devil magic cooking last night in Kansas City, Missouri. I mean, Mahomes had some influence on that game. I don't know. But the Royals kind of fluked a victory yesterday on the Padres. Don't care. Who cares? The Padres got fluked. I hope they sell Mason Miller, and I hope they get to package the Bogarts contract with Miller just so somebody will take Bogarts. Hey, we will happily take Xander Bogaerts for the Washington Nationals if it's for Mason Miller. You know what? We will send you our 29th best prospect. We'll send you AAA catcher now, Maxwell Romero, for Mason Miller and Xander Bogaerts. We'll take the contract. We'll play Bogaerts at second base for the next 8 seasons. Actually, is that even worth it, though? I'm actually thinking about this. I don't think it is. Bogaerts is on contract till he's 41. Miller's awesome, but you have to pay that guy $30+ million a year, and he has to play for you until, 2033? Actually, no, I wouldn't do it. Even if it came with Mason Miller, I don't think I'm doing it. Xander Bogaerts is atrocious. This is not about Xander Bogaerts, but that dude's so awful. 640 OPS. He's under contract for 8 more years. Oh my goodness, that's so bad. 2034? Why do they do that? I mean, I get it. Bogaerts was really good before he fell off a cliff. Anyways, Ty France today. And that's the thing with the Padres, right? No one's good in this lineup except for Ty France. At least consistently good. Ty France yesterday, none of that craziness happens if it's not for the Ty France homer in the top of the 9th inning. Obviously, the Royals eventually win the game with the Carter Jensen walk-off or 2-run walk-off single. I think Ty France is going to hammer starting pitcher tonight for the Kansas City Royals. I can't believe this is real either. Welcome back, Randy Dobnak. Are we serious? Randy Dobnak is back for the Royals, or at least back in the MLB, and he's pitching for the Kansas City Royals. And, Dobnak, who of course was pitching quite a while for the Minnesota Twins. He had a very bad last year in Minnesota. I believe this was 24 off the top of my head, where he posted a near 8 ERA and had like a -2 wins above replacement. The guy has hopped around from organization to organization, and I'll be honest with you, I've not been keeping up with Randy Dobnak, so I thought when I saw the projected or scheduled starters for today saying, oh, okay, Griffin Canning versus Randy Dobnak, good luck with that. Griffin Canning and Dobnak, that sounds like 15 runs, but it's the Padres, so maybe not. I was thinking, okay, maybe Dobnak's been lighting it up in AAA, and I look at his stats in the minors this year, oh no. Apparently he was with the Mariners earlier in the year. Didn't know that. Just signs to Omaha to play for, obviously, the Storm Chasers, I believe that is. That's not obviously. I think it's the Storm Chasers for the Royals. In 2 games, in 10 2/3 innings, Dobnak has posted a 1.4 whip and opponent's batting average of .311 and the ERA 5.06. I guess it's an improvement off of 2025, where he posted a 7.12 ERA with STP. Off the top of my head, I do not know who that is. STP. I'm blanking on what Oric that is. Toledo Mud Hens, he posted a 3.79 ERA. He has not been good, just to keep it short with you. 1.71 whip last season. in AAA, 7.12 ERA. Oh my goodness. So Randy Dobnak has not been good since being sent back down to the minor leagues, but we saw the Royals earlier on in the year. They started Mitch Spence in a game in DC, and I really questioned it, but I said, okay, you know what, we'll take it. And obviously the Nationals hammered Mitch Spence in that game. I have to imagine the Padres are going to hammer Randy Dobnak, but it is the Padres, and they are starting Griffin Canning, so that's why I'm not betting San Diego money line. But for Ty France specifically, for a competent hitter, I think Ty France is going to go berserk. Okay, and yes, Randy Dobnak has pitched already this year. Two outings so far this year, no starts. He came in relief against the New York Metropolitans and casually dropped 5 2/3 scoreless innings against the Lol Mets, because of course he has. So the Royals are finally making him a starter tonight. They technically used an opener in the last game. It was, oh goodness, what was his name? Steven Cruz opened for Dobnak in his last outing. They're just going straight in there, and they're going to start Dobnak today. Dobnak, who's posted a 1.86 ERA in the season with a 1.34 whip. You know what that means. The Savant page does not look good, and he is due for a blow-up start. And that blow-up start is happening tonight. It is 100% happening tonight. I think the Padres are going to really put it on him. Again, it's not to the point where I'm going to play Padres money line because I don't trust this lineup, but I trust Ty France. France has been good this year. 830 OPS, 502 slug, 270 average, 2 wins above replacement. You'll take those numbers. Big home run last night. Ty France has consistently come through for the Padres this year. I think he's taken Dobnak yard. It's that simple. Let's not forget what happened in Dobnak's last stint in the major leagues. It was 2021, last time Randy Dobnak started a game. I thought it was 24. It's been 5 years since Randy Dobnak has started a game in the majors. He posted in 2021 over 14 outings, a negative 1.5 wins above replacement, and a 7.64 ERA with a 1.54 whip. Atrocious. Awful stuff. 50 innings, 44 runs. Yeah. And the Royals have an awful bullpen too. So for some crazy world where Ty France isn't able to deliver against just Randy Dobnak, we know that Royals pen isn't good either. Yesterday, specifically for Ty France, he goes 1 for 3, but yeah, two runs, 1 RBI as well. So obviously everything comes to play for him in that top of the 9th inning. He got hit by a pitch earlier in the game in the 5th. I think we're fine here. I think Ty France is going to come through for us here. I think it's probably 2 hits. But I could see this being a game where, okay, the Padres lineup actually does break through and France is hitting with runners on, right? Maybe Machado gets on base. Maybe Gavin Sheets gets on base. And I understand batting average is not everything, but I mean, these guys don't have high OPSs either. The guys hitting in front of Ty France in the lineup are 216 average Jackson Merrill, 224 average Xander Bogaerts, 201 average Manny Machado, and 218 average Gavin Sheets. And then hitting behind Ty France is 190 average Jake Cronenworth. It's a miracle they're only 1 game under 500. I'm going to go Ty France over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBI. Again, I know it's a piss-poor lineup, but I do believe they have to come through against Randy Dobnak. Yes, Dobnak shut down the Mets in a game that the Mets still won, by the way, but it is the Lol Mets. I'm willing to look past that. Dobnak is, I guess, still washed at the age of 31 in 2026. France on the over hits, runs, and RBI tonight. On to our 5th now best bet of the video, but we still got 2 more. Let's go back to T-Mobile Park. Let's try again, because today is the Brian Wu equation. Okay, hey, we've been on fire with Brian Wu recently after we cracked the code with Wu, right? We are what is it? It's 3-0 on Brian Wu since we cracked Brian Wu. No, that's not what we cracked the code on Brian Wu. Oh my goodness. I think he's going to pitch well today. Okay. Again, he's great at home, awful on the road. What happens in his last start against the Marlins? We saw, Brian Wu on the road, he's going to lose. 5 innings, 9 hits, 4 runs. Is it a particularly bad start for Wu? No, but his team still loses. Last home start for Brian Wu, 6 1/3, 4 hits, 2 runs. The home scoreless streak was snapped in that game because of the Mariners bullpen, but Wu and the Mariners get the victory 8-3. What happens in the game prior on the road in Pittsburgh? 4 innings, 6 hits, 5 runs, and an eventual 11-1 victory for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Guys, again, there is a very clear pattern established, and we are going back to it again today. Bryan Woo's pitching in Seattle. That means he will win. I understand Bryce Miller, the splits did not work out for him yesterday. Landon Rupp pitched his ass off, and yes, the Mariners lineup is still inept half the games that they play. But Bryan Woo at home this season, 2.1 ERA with a 6-0 record. That's 51 to third innings, only allowing 12 runs with an opponent's batting average of 156 against Woo. On the road, yeah, he's bad. 6.3 ERA. Let's not really get into that. 300 opponent's batting average against Woo on the road, not good. But at home, again, he is arguably the most dominant pitcher in baseball when pitching at home. That is how significant Bryan Woo's stats have been this year at T-Mobile Park. And against the Giants, I think he's going to deliver. I say it all the time, yes, the Giants are so much better than they actually appear, and their record is not really representative of how good this team can potentially be. And of course, Willy Adames, after I shit on Willy Adames every other day, Adames hits a grand slam yesterday for the Giants to put them up 7-0. That's phenomenal stuff. You know what that means, and we say this all the time this year. Giants get any little bit of momentum. Big one yesterday. You win 7-0. You score on a good pitcher Bryce Miller, who's been very good at home this year. Adames hits the grand slam. Awesome. Again, all the time with the Giants. Momentum, and then they give it all up. It's going to happen here. They've got momentum. Bryan Woo's going to shut them down. But, oh, wait, hold on. Logan Webb's pitching for the Giants. This can go one of two ways, guys. And both ways, the Giants, I believe, are going to lose. Okay, Logan Webb is a really great start. Awesome. Giants lose the game 1-0 because Bryan Woo's even better. Logan Webb comes out of the game after 8 innings. It's 0-0 going into the bottom of the 9th. Caleb Killian comes in, and I don't know, let's say Randy Arozarena pulls one to left field, game over in the bottom of the 9th. That's if Logan Webb pitches well, because again, there is a trend that has been established with Logan Webb. When he pitches in general, his team doesn't get him run support. Even when he pitches poorly, the team says, screw your run support. How about 2 starts ago against the Rockies? Yeah, 3 innings, 11 hits, 7 runs for Webb. It's awful at Coors Field. Team says, we're not even going to try to score for you. We lose 15-3. Next game against the Blue Jays, yeah, Logan Webb goes 7 innings, 5 hits, 5 runs, gets tagged up early, gets pieced up early. You think, maybe the Giants lineup shows some fight. No, they don't get it hit until the bottom of the 9th inning, where Elliot Ramos bat flips because he got a hit off of Dylan Cease up the middle. Giants lose 10-0. They don't get runs on Webb for Webb regardless, okay? Logan Webb posted a .71 ERA in the month of June. His team went 3-2 in that stretch. Late game heroics with the Nationals, late game heroics with the Miami Marlins. Logan Webb, in these 5 games he pitched in the month of June, where his team only had a 3-2 record, he pitched every inning in those games other than 7. Every inning in the game, he pitched all but 7 in a whole month, and his team still went 3-2. He had a .71 ERA. So again, Webb can pitch well, his team won't score him runs. Or, what I think is actually going to happen today, it's another blow-up start for Logan Webb. 2 awful starts so far in the month of July, 10.8 ERA. Yes, it is difficult to pitch at Coors, 100%. Pitching against the Blue Jays in the most pitcher-friendly park in baseball? Come on now. Now you get the Mariners, who, yes, are half stupid at the plate sometimes. 2 hits yesterday for the Mariners. Luke Raley has one in the bottom of the 5th inning. Josh Naylor gets one in the bottom of the 4th. All right, guys, we need you to score something today, but I think they'll deliver against Logan Webb. I think so. If not, I think it'll be a 1-0 Mariners victory, because legitimately, I'm under the belief that Bryan Woo's not giving up a single run today. And maybe Nick Davila doesn't pitch today for the Mariners, who gave up 4 runs in the inning that he pitched yesterday for Seattle. So I think we're fine here. I'm going to go Mariners money line at -135. Bryce Miller wasn't able to pick it up for us yesterday. Bryan Woo's got us. He's at home, right? This is Mr. Seattle, Bryan Woo. We'll be fine. Mariners money line at -135. Final best bet of the video, we go to Sutter Health Park in Sacramento, California. Taking the Nationals again. +110 for the Washington Nationals on the road in Sacramento against the A's. Yesterday, again, I touched on it a little bit earlier, my favorite game I've ever been to. I've been to, I think, over 100 baseball games now in my lifetime, and I believe last night was my favorite one. 23-4 victory for the Nationals. I mean, beyond, there was more than just the game itself. Like, I mean, at the end of the game, I got a picture with our general manager, Paul Taboni. That was pretty cool. Can't lie. Very phenomenal experience at Sutter Health Park yesterday. I'll be back for the next 2 games as well. Regardless, Nationals scoring 23 runs, second most runs in franchise history, behind the 2018 game in July, I think it was, against the Mets back in 2018, where they won 25-4 off the top of my head. Nationals win 23-4 yesterday, 19-run victory for the Nats. Cade Cavalli pitches well, and the Nats deliver on 23 runs. Andres Chaparro now tied for second all-time in Washington Nationals single-game RBI with 8 yesterday. Andres Chaparro, 4 for 5 for Chaparro, a guy who was a 150 hitter going into the game yesterday, comes out of it a 220 hitter. Now Andres Chaparro, don't look now, is a 780 OPS. He had more RBI yesterday than he had in the entire season. Awesome. Curtis Mead goes 4 for 6. Everyone in the Nationals lineup yesterday does get a hit, including my guy, Dylan Cruz. Hey, it took until a position player came out, but Dylan Cruz, big double in the top of the 9th. That's what we do. Okay? Just wait. He's still going to be better than Paul Skeens. Just all he needed was a big double off the wall on Carlos Cortez. Now we've arrived. Okay? Now we've locked in. And how about Harry Ford? Man, I can't believe the Washington Nationals have the best catching duo in Major League Baseball. That's what Harry Ford and Keibert Ruiz are. That's just a fact. Keibert Ruiz, I mean, 800 OPS Keibert Ruiz, and now 1,500 OPS Harry Ford. Okay, Harry Ford in his Nationals debut, first ever career home run, 2 for 5 yesterday for the Nats, 2 for 5 with 3 RBI for Ford. Come on now. What a game. What a game for Harry Ford. Everyone gets going yesterday for the Nationals. 23-run game, 21-hit game for the Nats. Off of Gage jump to start, and then obviously that atrocious A's bullpen. Who is it tonight for the Athletics? It's going to be JT Ginn. JT Ginn's the best pitcher for the A's. He is the number 1 guy. 3.7 ERA in the year, 1.25 whip. Of course, as always, let's look at the handy and trusty Baseball Savant page. And this is what we see out of JT Ginn. Good, not great. Okay, like, again, this is what a good pitcher, this is what a league average pitcher, in my opinion's chart will look like. Is he an exceptionally great pitcher? No, he's a decent pitcher in the major leagues. Expected ERA of 4.07, actual ERA 3.67. Okay. Don't see much red. I mean, yeah, hard hit percent, ground ball, sure. Walk rate, not great. K rate, not great. Chase rate, average. Fastball velo, not great. Here's the thing, right? When you face the Washington Nationals, you can kind of throw all this out the window because you need to be a top bill pitcher to dominate this Nationals lineup. That's not what JT Ginn is. JT Ginn's last start in Chicago, the guy gave up 8 runs in 4 innings. I wonder what's going to happen here. Start prior only went 4 innings in Detroit, Michigan against the Tigers. He's not that much better at home than on the road. Actually, he's actually worse at home, even though his last 2 starts have been pretty bad on the road. He's just okay. I mean, he had a start against the Angels a couple weeks ago where he gave up 4 runs in 5 innings against the Angels at home. What is the league's top scoring offense, who just scored 23 runs yesterday, going to do? And oh, by the way, it's time we unleash Luis Garcia Jr. Louis is going to be hitting tonight for the Nationals. Doesn't get the start yesterday because of the left-handed starter engaged jump. So Chaparro casually goes 4 for 5 with 8 RBI yesterday. Welcome in the hottest hitter still in the world, Luis Garcia Jr. Nationals, by the way, have homered in 13 consecutive games. I can only imagine what they're going to do again tonight in Sacramento. And this is what I've been saying, right? I've been so excited to watch this team play at Sutter Health. It is a AAA park, and it's in Sac. It's hot as hell. Ball flies. This is what I've been waiting for. And this is why I've had this circled on my calendar legitimately all year long. I've been so excited to go to this series because, again, this is the highest-scoring offense in baseball, and they get to play in this park against these pitchers. Name of the game for the Nationals, get JT Ginn the hell out of there. But Ginn's only gone 4 in his last 2. We saw Gage Jump only get, 10 outs yesterday? Yeah, get Ginn out of there early, and we're money. This bullpen out of the Athletics is awful. Yes, the Nationals pen is worse, but I think we're at least going to get innings out of our, I don't want to call him a Chad innings eater. I thought he was going to be a Chad innings eater. It's Zach Littell. Remember that Shane Bieber Baseball Savant page? This might be worse. Holy crap. He doesn't walk, guys. That's what a Chad innings eater is supposed to do, so respect, rubber arm. Everything's in the blue. This is unbelievable. Like, I've watched every pitch Littell's thrown this season with my own eyes. Like, I know it hasn't been good. I did not think it was this bad. Because, like, okay, Littell kind of trending in the right direction. 4.9 ERA, awesome. Expected ERA of 6.4. Everything's blue except for the walk rate. Great. He throws balls in the zone. When he throws balls into the zone, they get bombed on. Okay, Zach. I need you to show up today. You're probably going to get an opener. I'd probably go to PJ Poulin. Carson Palmquist is fine with me too. And the Palmquist hasn't been great. They've been opening Palmquist quite a bit for Littell. And I will tell you, Littell's last 3 outings, though, last 4 outings, okay, he's only given up 2 runs or less in his last 4. Month of July for Zach Littell, 1.8 ERA. Is he getting lucky in some of these starts? Sure, but he's been getting an opener in both of them. So far in the month of July, 10 innings. 2 runs against both the Pittsburgh Pirates and Yankees, both at home. All right, sign me up for this. I don't love Littell pitching in sack. He gives up more home runs than any other pitcher in baseball. And now he's pitching in, I think, currently the most hitter-friendly park in the sport. Yes, I understand Coors Field is absurd. I just think Sutter Health is way more hitter-friendly. It's a short field, and it is hot as hell out there. It is a funky-ass park that benefits the Nationals quite a bit. I don't think it particularly benefits Zach Littell. If you care, Zach Littell on the road this season, 4.15 ERA. I think, again, you can kind of throw us all out the window because it is Sutter Health, because it is Sacramento. And, again, the fences are shorter. It's the Rivercat Stadium, of course, for the Giants AAA team. I still think the Nationals win. The A's have lost 10 in a row. Is it 11 or 10 now? It's 10. A's have lost 10 in a row. You need to get over the hump eventually. I don't think they're going to do it here. And if the Nats are able to win this game, they are going to sweep, okay? I don't think we're going to get Nats money line tomorrow at a playable number. It's Jacob Lopez versus All-Star Foster Griffin tomorrow. If we get it anywhere near playable, obviously we're taking it, but I just don't think we're going to. I think the Nats are going to be like minus 165 tomorrow. So if the Nats win today, they're sweeping. And the A's would have then lost 12 in a row. It's a big game for both teams. Nats trying to get their team in the position to buy at the trade deadline. A's just trying to finally get a victory. But with no Kurt still, no Geloff, this A's lineup isn't very good at all. I think, again, with the Nationals using an opener, likely Carson Palmquist, Littell eating 5 to 6 innings, and then handing the ball over to our elite bullpen arms in Revolta, Beater, and Poulin, we should be fine. Nats did not have to use their pen yesterday. They had Cavalli go 6, Cornelio go 2, and Jorbit Vivas got the last 3 outs of the game. So the pen is fully rested. If that's maybe it feels like a threat, but the bullpen is rested. Littell can eat innings, and are we betting against this lineup that scored 23 yesterday? Oh, there's regression due. I don't think so. This lineup scores on everybody. They're the highest scoring team in baseball this year. They will score again in this small-ass park that is just completely. It feels like Sutter Health Park has been made for the Washington Nationals. And they are going to dominate the A's again, in my opinion, despite the fact Littell's pitching. JT Ginn is an average pitcher. The Nationals dominate average pitching. And oh, by the way, he's a righty. The Nationals hit righties way better than they do lefties. And they scored 23 runs yesterday with the left-handed starter. So Nats money line today, plus 110 to close the video. And folks, that does it for our best bets here on June 18th. If you haven't yet, though, July 18th. If you haven't yet, though, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Make sure to comment if you do disagree with any of the picks. We'll be back tomorrow for more daily MLB Best Bets. Folks, thank y'all for watching, and Mamba forever.